a billionaire CEO, stuffed into a music box, and flown out of Japan under the noses of prosecutors, police, and global media. It sounds like the plot of a high-budget thriller, but this isn't fiction. This is the real story of Carlos Ghosn. In 2018, Japanese prosecutors shocked the business world. They arrested Nissan's legendary chairman at Tokyo's Haneda Airport. The charge? Underreporting millions in compensation and misusing company funds for personal perks, luxury homes, lavish parties, and even family vacations. But Ghosn had his own story to tell. He claimed the arrest wasn't about justice, it was a coup. A carefully staged takedown by Nissan insiders and Japanese officials who feared his growing power
We followed the
and his
protocol.
push to merge Nissan more deeply with Renault, the French automaker he had rescued from decline years earlier. To understand the drama, you have to know who Ghosn was. Carlos Ghosn wasn't just another executive. He was the man who saved Nissan from near bankruptcy in the late 1990s. He slashed costs, closed factories, and earned the nickname Le Cost Killer. In Japan, he became a celebrity. He was featured in comic books. His face appeared on magazine covers. Employees bowed when he entered a room. But power makes enemies. And by 2018, the empire gone. After his arrest, Ghosn spent months locked in a small Tokyo detention cell, interrogated daily, cut off from the outside world. Japan's justice system is notorious for its so-called hostage justice. Suspects can be held for weeks without trial. Confessions are often extracted through relentless questioning. And once prosecutors bring charges, conviction rates soar to an incredible 99%. Eventually, Ghosn was granted bail, but freedom came with heavy chains. His movements were restricted. His communication was monitored. He couldn't meet his wife. He lived under constant surveillance. Cameras pointed at his front door, guards stationed nearby. Every step, every call, every visit was recorded. It looked impossible. But Ghosn was already plotting his way out. December 2019, at an apartment in Tokyo, Ghosn slipped away from the eyes of his guards. Disguised, determined, waiting for his chance. Two men, former U.S. Special Forces operatives, arrived in Japan pretending to be musicians. With them, oversized black audio equipment cases. Inside one of those cases, Ghosn curled himself up. He held his breath as the men sealed the lid and wheeled him through airport security. The case was too large for scanners. It rolled past checkpoints onto the tarmac and up the stairs of a private jet waiting in the night. For 12 hours he stayed hidden, breathing through tiny air holes drilled in the case. No one stopped them. No one opened the box. By the time the jet engines roared to life, the most famous executive in Japan was already gone. The escape route was straight out of a spy novel. First stop, Osaka to Istanbul. A quick transfer. Then onto another plane bound for Beirut, Lebanon. Lebanon was more than just a destination. It was protection. The country had no extradition treaty with Japan. For Ghosn, Beirut meant safety. It meant freedom. 1 week later, the world's cameras turned to him again. At a press conference in Beirut, Ghosn stepped to the podium. He didn't look like a fugitive. He looked like a man in control. Calm, steady. His words were sharp. I didn't escape justice. I fled injustice. The room erupted. For his supporters, he was a hero who had outsmarted an unfair system. For critics, he was proof that the rich and powerful play by different rules. The story didn't end in Beirut. Interpol issued a red notice marking him as internationally wanted. France soon added its arrest warrant, investigating payments routed through Oman that they said were linked to fraud. The Americans who wheeled him across the airport floor, they weren't so lucky. Japan caught them, tried them, and sentenced them to prison. Fast forward to 2025. French judges order Ghosn to stand trial in Paris, tied to allegations of corruption and consulting fees. Once again, he denies everything. Once again, he remains out of reach, protected by Lebanon's laws and by the country's refusal to hand him over. Today, Carlos Ghosn lives in Beirut, walking the streets freely, giving interviews, still insisting that he was framed. Meanwhile, Nissan has moved on. The alliance he once dreamed of between Renault, Nissan, and Mitsubishi has shifted. His era is gone, but the questions remain. Was Carlos Ghosn the visionary who saved millions of jobs and built a global car empire, only to be betrayed in a boardroom coup? Or was he a corporate outlaw who bent the rules for his power and luxury, finally exposed by those closest to him? A hero, a fugitive, a savior, or a scandal? History will decide.